Here we are. It says,
Yes,
we're live.
we're live. We're actually going to play the game this time.
Because we didn't have a session. Well, we had a session last week, but
And
not
the week
playing.
before. Oh, no, but the week before we didn't stream at all.
I thought, no, it was last week we didn't stream, wasn't it?
Oh, last week we didn't stream, but then the previous week. Oh,
and the week before we streamed, but we didn't play.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
So, and in the meantime,
yes,
I have watched The Big Sleep.
Oh, yeah. How was that?
Which was, it was really good because it was, what I found interesting is that I was watching it and then thinking, this is like this, but forgetting that the Big Sleep was probably one of the earliest examples of it. So
not the earliest, but it's like one of the most famous,
earliest, right?
Let's say.
Okay.
Well, I mean, listen. So all the 1930s film noir preceded the writing of this book, of the Book of Tulu Confidential, because that's like much more recent. So they all the movies and the whole genre precedes the role playing game. If that's what you meant.
No. What I meant was that the other films and other references that I had when I was watching Big Sleep, I was like, oh, this reminds me of other things.
Oh, right. Yeah. Of course. Yes.
But forgetting that The Big Sleep was the first or one of the earliest examples of that kind of.
Yes, exactly. So certainly there's a lot of other movies and tropes. Like, for example, Chinatown is usually classified. I haven't seen that in ages, but I know that they give it as a reference in the Book of Cthulhu Confidential. And Chinatown would be reusing a lot of stuff that is coming from this era of films in the 1930s, late 1930s.
When's Chinatown?
Chinatown is made in the 80s, 85 maybe? I'm not sure.
I don't have any, it's not on my radar, that film at all.
Okay, a crime film with Michael Keaton. No, not Michael Keaton. Sorry. Michael Douglas.
You mean Michael Douglas?
Douglas.
Okay.
Sorry.
Yeah. Okay. I haven't seen that. I have to watch that too. But I got a general idea of like, go somewhere, something happens, get a clue, go somewhere else, speak to someone else. And in The Big Sleep, he just seems to piece it all together. He's such a smart ass as well. Yeah. It just has a comment for everything, which is really well done.
Yeah, and there are some tropes that are repeated as important as when you're playing the game that I don't know if you, for example, that you noticed that is something that you don't necessarily would naturally do in a normal situation or even in a gaming situation, which is he goes and talks to everybody. As in, he goes and talks to mobsters about like, did you do this? who's involved in this? Or whatever. It's not the actual questions, but you see what I mean?
Yeah, I do.
In another situation, and most gaming situations, if you suspect the bad guy and the crime lord, you're like, I'm not going to go talk to him. I'll never walk out of there alive. But that's a different genre.
Oh, I see. Okay.
In the film noir, the detective and the private investigator talks to everybody and can. And he might get in a scuffle or something, but he doesn't,
Yeah.
He doesn't die.
Well, that's what I thought as I was watching the film. I was like, wow, he just seems to handle himself in a way that doesn't get him massively in.
Yeah, even though he's talking to powerful people.
Yeah, he just
and not just the crime lord. He's just talking to powerful politicians and rich people, but with the same attitude, which is part of the trope of that hardcore, hard-boiled private detective.
The other thing that came across,
who has nothing to lose for some reason.
Yeah, he doesn't care. The other thing that came across is the women as well. Yeah. Like wisecracking, like there's something going on, like fully into it, immersed in it. People who just have.
So the whole idea of the femme fatale comes from those movies as well, that genre.
Okay.
And in many cases, and I don't remember if it's The Big Sleep, and I'm sorry, like we might be a little bit spoilery, but not too much. So in a bunch of those movies, so if you watch Double Indemnity, that is considered to be the best of the genre.
Okay.
I'm not sure why, but it makes more sense and is better. I watched last year The Big Sleep, Out of the Past, which was really good, and Double Indemnity, which is also really good. So the femme fatale is that character is the downfall of somebody, usually the hero. And even Double Indemnity is kind of funny for that. It's a little bit I'm not sure how to say.
I have to watch it.
Watch it. You'll watch it.
Yeah, I'll watch it. All right.
It's super obvious. I mean, it's so, but that's part of the pleasure. It's so obvious from the very beginning of the movie that that relationship with that woman is trouble, but the guy's going for it, and you're like, no, don't do that. Why are you doing that? You're a very smart person 2 minutes ago.
Oh, I see. Okay.
But it feels like there's no build up. It just starts that way, and then it builds up to bad stuff, which is good. Which is what.
Well, that's quite cool.
Makes it good.
You could see it coming. You're like, oh, don't do that, and it just happens.
Yeah, well, it's just super obvious. They get immediately, like, he's immediately enamored with her, and you're like, well, this is and she's
gonna end in tears.
You're like, oh, this is not gonna end well for sure. So but that's the fun of it, is that from the very beginning, you kind of know what you're watching. You know this is going to be just a giant car crash for the whole movie.
Okay, that's good. That's very good. And that's a whole skill.
Double Indemnity is an insurance thing. He's the main character is an insurance agent. So
I read the kind of basic kind of thing. But then how do you write in a way where you set it up so that you know what the audience knows what's going to happen, but they want to watch? I
don't know. The other funny anecdote that I read in a book about The Big Sleep, and is it Raymond Chandler who wrote the book, and he wrote a bunch of different noir detective books that Philip Marlowe, the detective, is based on.
Yeah.
And your character in this game is pretty much mimicking Philip Marlowe. It's the same kind of vibe, right?
Right.
But you can change it. You can make it a little bit your own, but it's that, that stereotype of a detective. But anyway, the thing goes that apparently somebody noticed while they were working on the script that there was something incoherent in the book they were like, but how does that character die at that particular point, and who killed him? And you actually never explain or reveal what that was about. And so they called the author on the phone to make sure what was going on. And he was like, I don't know. Do whatever you want with the movie. So apparently, to answer your question, I don't know in this case, but they don't always know. I think Agatha Christie is somebody that's like, leading the thing and trying to get to the answer. But it seems that some of the noir books and movies are so convoluted that even the person writing it doesn't necessarily know what's the entire in and out of everything.
Well, I did have that feeling of like,
and The Big Sleep is confused. At some point you're like, I don't really understand who's doing what.
How did he suddenly get? And then there's a couple of bits like, how did he know that? And okay, that makes sense. And other times they're like, what? How?
So it's just like, he's just going back to the house on a hunch. Is that what it is?
Yeah. But it works. Somehow it works.
Yeah, it doesn't distract. I still very much enjoyed the movie. I was like, okay, whatever.
Yeah.
It's also fun. I mean, it might be a little bit too. It doesn't matter. It feels perhaps a little highbrow, but it is fun to watch an old movie.
Oh yeah,
and you're like, wow, the old movies were good, and
yes,
because we could easily, with our culture, easily imagine. I think that's like this. I could be wrong, but that that we just reinvented everything now. That everything from the past is bad, and it's, I don't know, misogynistic, or which it is a little bit, but that doesn't mean that there's not a lot of value out of it, and it's great. It's like, this is 80 years old, or almost close to 90. I mean, The Big Sleep is 1930 something. What is it?
I thought it was 40 something, but it was really good. I felt like Aaron Sorkin watched films like that and took it further. He took that kind of
there's amazing writing, and there's so much
intricate
good writing. This is
conversation.
Part of the golden years of Hollywood, and there's so much amazing movies in the golden years of Hollywood.
The couple of scenes, the scene in the restaurant where he's talking to her is so well acted and so well put together, and so just like there's so much communicated in such a short space of time. And I suppose it's because of, like, when you set limits for yourself, you have to craft something that comes across really well. And almost like when you throw CGI and all the things in modern films in, it takes away from that story and communicating between two people. But the way Aaron Sorkin does it just took that to an extreme, I think. That kind of this, that bullet dialogue thing.
I agree.
I felt that when I was watching it. I was like, wow, that was what? That was really good. And I watched it by myself. I didn't watch it with Davina, which I think made it better.
You think? Okay.
Because I don't think she would have liked it. I don't know. Who knows? I don't know.
She doesn't like just detective or crime movies?
Well, she appreciates classic
She might
films.
be asking a lot of questions.
Possibly.
That was stereotypical of me to say that, but anyway. Possibly misogynistic, borderline.
It depends on the film. Because we watched...
Because I had a lot of questions watching that movie, but I was watching it on my own, so I was just talking to myself. Wait, what is he doing?
Yeah, that was going into my head. But like Davina and I, we watched, like, have you seen Cinema Paradiso?
A long time ago. That's the movie I was thinking of rewatching, but it's also over 3 hours long. It's a really good movie.
But it's so good.
It's really, really good.
It was Davina who turned me onto it. We were like, wow.
When did you watch it? Like recently or?
In the past 10 years.
Oh, okay. But it's still more recent than I saw it when I was like, maybe I must have seen it 20 years ago.
So we watched that film, and then we loved that together. It was she had turned me onto it, and then we watched things like Once Upon a Time in America together, and like,
oh, that's good. That's a great movie to watch together.
Yeah, it is really just those kind of, and we both love The Godfather. We went to see The Godfather in the cinema because they re-showed it. Did I tell you that?
I think you did. Yeah.
Yeah. And
I saw it as the outdoor cinema a few years ago.
The way the audience reacted to a couple of key moments, it was worth it just for that experience.
That's why the cinema is still great. We forget with the streaming services how good being in the cinema is. I'm so happy I went to see Top Gun Maverick, and I was really lucky to get onto a big screen.
Is it that good?
It's really good. It's really worth seeing at the cinema. And you should go with Davina. Although you can just go on your own.
Well, she wanted to see it. I was like,
it's a lot. I mean, I would say it's a lot better than the first one, but it's really better than the first one because I saw a tidbit. I didn't really read much by way of articles. I mean, the critics are like just going nuts, which is a big nostalgia thing. Yeah, but they paid like $11,000 an hour to the U.S. Air Force for flying and fighting scenes, and it shows. That's why it's worth seeing on the big screen. Like, it's compared to the first one, they're really, really going out of their way. There's a lot of amazing flying and fighting and dogfighting scenes.
Because I've
like
seen
really, 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 really good.
I've seen,
and the story is honestly like it's it's worth seeing just because it's so bad it's good, but it's overall it's a really I would recommend. You know, my brother-in-law, who is a big cinema buff and very specific about what he likes, went to see it on a big screen and like the week it was released, and I was like, really? And he confirmed. I agreed with him. He was like, it was really worth seeing on a big screen. The flying and fighting scenes are exceptional, just really gorgeous. And the story's dumb, but it's kind of fun and moving a little bit. There's Val Kilmer, and that's kind of moving. I mean, it is moving.
Okay.
But that's moving really more from the actor's perspective and what happened to him.
Yeah.
But still, because of the character, it works.
Because I don't think I've seen the first one all the way through properly.
They make it work with the character.
Yeah. I don't think I've seen the first one all the way through properly.
Really?
It didn't stick with me.
Bizarrely, I rewatched it. When did I rewatch? Not that long ago, and I think it was possibly with a common friend.
No,
I rewatched it, and I rewatched it, and I was I was like, wow, this is so bad. But it was a cultural phenomenon of the time.
Well, I think the other thing that
And other
enhanced it was
interesting
a
thing,
great
I think
soundtrack.
it's
Great
huh?
soundtrack
Very
from
big,
the first one.
and they do maintain a good soundtrack. Obviously, it's funny because the soundtrack is very reminiscent of that 80s thing and the
Okay.
scenes, and they don't really go too far off track. I
Okay.
mean, they do and they don't. So they make the character evolve, but it's an eternal teenager who's had the same long career. And the scenes are mimicking exactly the same thing. So they take what works, but they do add and elevate those action scenes that are really exceptional, to be honest. And it's funny because I think I was telling somebody else who was like, yeah, I don't like the film just for action and special effects, which anyway, whatever, to each their own. But there are movies that are actually really worth seeing for that on the big screen. And one where they're fighting fighter jets and doing dogfights and really, really well is really worth seeing on a big screen.
Who directed it? The new one?
Know.
Okay.
I can't remember. I don't know.
All right. You've persuaded me. Maybe Davina, right? Davina wanted, and I was like, nah.
Well, the thing is, this is a movie that you don't want to see more than once. But if you miss the opportunity to see it at the cinema, you're missing out on the movie.
Okay.
I think it's a little bit like Gravity. Did you see Gravity?
No.
Well, you missed the opportunity. Well, so Gravity is a movie that is completely dumb, but is really, really, really worth seeing at the cinema and exceptional. And I saw it on IMAX, and I thought it was exceptional at the cinema. I probably never need to see that movie again, and I never will. And if I had seen it on a TV screen, I'd probably be disappointed.
Okay. Right, because
that one is all about the magnificence of space and things going wrong one after the other. And honestly, the way it's filmed is just extraordinary. There's no story to this thing. It's just like people go in space and have problems. That's the story. Two people are in space and they have space problems because there can be many of them.
Two people in space have space problems. That's so good.
Yeah, and the story of Top Gun is like, well, 30 years later, this dude is still flying jets. And everybody fucking wants them to get out of there because he's a dinosaur, but he's still really, 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 really good at flying jets.
Well, that came across in the trailer. The trailer explained all of that. But
I didn't watch the trailer. I just went to see it. Again, the recommendation of my brother-in-law weighs a lot. And I'm like, yeah, it must be cool. And I was lucky. I went at the last minute. I suddenly had some time free. It was super hot on Saturday. I was like, I'm not doing anything. Okay, let's just go see it. And I got my ticket because I know the place, the multiplex where I was at. It was like the screen 10, and I know the screen 10 is the biggest one they have. So I was like, great, this is going to be cool. And it wasn't too crowded because it was like second or third week, I think.
Oh, okay.
But there's no other big blockbuster that apparently deserved to be on the big screen this weekend.
You've persuaded me because one of my other colleagues was like, it was really good. And I was like, really? But all right.
Yeah, you have to go see it for what it is. It's candy on a big screen. Okay. And I mean, you'll tell me, maybe you won't get excited, but frankly, it's not my jam. And the rest of the scenes and the plot, I mean, I was smiling at some point several times, chuckled, and I resisted actually laughing out loud at how dumb it was. But it was really good, and it's not pretending to be anything else than it is, I don't think.
Big dumb fun.
Yeah, just proper blockbuster movie. And, something gloriously to the soft power of the United States.
Oh, yes,
America,
of course.
Obviously.
Team America, World Police.
Absolutely. World Police, the best fighter jets, even against, because they go on an actual, there's a mission. That's the heart of the whole thing, which is really good. That's what makes it good. Because they didn't have that in the first one. No, the first one, they're just doing exercises.
There was no, really? I thought there was
a mission. Well, I think there is a mission at the end, but unless I'm completely forgetting, they go to the training academy and they do mission, and then there's something that happens at the end. But this one is all built around, there's a mission that is impossible, and the only person who can train other people to do it is Tom Cruise's character.
Yeah.
And so they're really spending a lot of time detailing and explaining this mission, which is completely ridiculously nuts. It's like a video game. You're like, what? You're going to do what? And of course, it's against a mysterious rogue state, because why define them?
Yeah, true. They're anti-American.
Exactly.
doesn't matter. They need to be brought under control because
Well,
they're
that's also what's fun
not
is like, you
democratic.
used to have the Cold War, so it was the
Yeah,
Russians, and then there
yeah,
were a
yeah.
few other things. Now you just terrorists, doesn't matter, whatever. And clearly it's not, it doesn't matter. It's like what matters is that these guys are really, really good.
Yeah. Wow.
A
Okay.
little bit, to circle back, like Sorkin. Actually, we should play because now it's a long intro. Like Sorkin characters are really, really good at what they do.
Yeah.
And they're awesome. So it's a
Yeah.
little bit in that sense, even though the dialogues and the storyline doesn't actually follow Sorkin anything, but you know. Okay.
Our mutual friend, we've booked for our wedding anniversary to see To Kill a Mockingbird, the Sorkin online, the Sorkin. I was going to say online, on stage.
With
you heard about that?
Who's yeah.
I don't know who the actors are.
Jeff.
It's in London, Jeff.
No, but in New York it was Jeff. The dude who plays in Dumb and Dumber. What's his name again? But not Jim Carrey, the other one. Jeff Daniels. Jeff Daniels plays the main character in To Kill a Mockingbird, put up by Aaron Sorkin in New York, but I don't know who plays it in London, and I don't know if it's him playing it in London. I'm guessing maybe not.
Well, we're going to see that, and
that sounds cool. I've never seen it.
Our mutual friend, who's a massive Sorkin fan, I don't think I've told him. I should tell him to make him jealous.
You should tell him. You could invite him rather than just making him straight up jealous.
No, well, I'm not going to invite him because it's just being around our wedding anniversary.
Wedding anniversary. Okay, got it. Sorry.
Don't know.
Okay, so let's get to the game. Sorry,
yeah.
Now that we can tell people to fast forward 15 minutes. Or fortunately, we're not doing this for anybody but ourselves anyway.
Okay.
So you don't have your notes. This is how serious this call is. This game is.
Here's what I remember.
Yes.
I'm a detective. I've been hired by this woman to find out what happened to her sister.
Oh, are you on the Miro board? I need to share it with you again.
I'm trying to, but I can't. I'm in it, but I don't know where I am on the board because it's so.
You could just follow me. You're not on the right board because you're not in my board. I would see you.
Yeah, I am. It says many RPG stuff.
Well, how come I can't? How come I don't see you?
Because it hasn't loaded.
Oh, that's why. But then you could just follow where I am.
How do I do that? I'm not logged in.
But I should still be able to see that you're there, no?
It's not loading. It just says many RPG stuff. I can see PC sheet Terrelius.
Yeah. Here. Okay, so.
I'm trying to zoom out. I think it's my crappy internet connection and stuff.
Might be. Okay, well, otherwise I'll just share my screen.
Yeah, just share your screen. You can share your screen, can't you? Or do I need to?
I should be able to.
Okay.
All right, so you are Detective Dexter Raymond, and this is why you didn't take notes, because you were not logged into the Miro board. Otherwise, you could just take your notes directly in there. But paper you prefer paper anyway. It doesn't matter.
I prefer paper. Yeah, so I'd been hired by Margaret to find out what happened to her sister.
Margaret Deacon, yeah. Helen Deacon, who's her sister.
Helen, and she doesn't know what happened to her sister. She disappeared for 2 weeks.
That's right.
And she's come back catatonic from something. Yeah. Went to see a writer guy, and
you went to see I went to Marshall Daly, who's a screenwriter and apparently love interest, ex-current, not too clear.
Yeah, and he wants to know. He didn't know Helen? What happened with Helen,
but
right. He's offered his help. And then I went to see Film Dude, who I know, and he's like.
Went to see your contact, who is a film director, not a film director, a set director called Max Whale.
Yeah.
And you also noticed you were being tailed.
Yeah. I remember that. And he says, that Max Marshall is kind of waiting for a big break, but nothing kind of, because I went to see Max to ask him about Marshall and he didn't really
Yes.
tell me a whole lot about Marshall other than
He didn't have much to say aside from he's a young guy, he's partying more
drinks
than
too
he should
much,
be writing.
not doing enough to get himself out there, and said Helen was a bit of a party girl and was at this. There was a place where they have like was gambling, was it? I
Yeah,
can't
the
remember the name of the
Alegria,
place.
which is Whitey Alexander's illegal casino. It's a rug joint.
Yeah,
And Whitey Alexander is a
gangster dude,
gangster
guy.
type. Yeah.
Yeah.
Works for the gangsters anyway. Wait, what's this? Yeah, he owns the casino.
He owns
casino.
The elevator.
Runs the casino presumably for. Let me check. Wait.
Who? I don't actually know that. This is new information.
Yeah, but I have to be careful what I'm giving you as information.
I know, that's what I mean.
Because there are some things that you do know as because you know the scene.
Yep. So I think I've just left from seeing Max, and I wanted to go and speak to the guys who were tailing me.
Okay. So what? Sorry. What did you just say? Because I was doing two things at once.
I just where we were last time is I just had a chat with Max.
Yes.
I left Max. I'm going back to my car.
Yes.
And I want to go and speak to the guys who are tailing me. Okay. They're in the car.
Okay.
Oh, I need. Yeah. So there's a car, and now after watching The Big Sleep, I'm now wondering all about Margaret Deacon. What's going on with her?
Give me just 1 second, because of course I was not exactly as prepared as I could have or should have been.
So I spoke to her. Yeah.
Okay, so you're walking back to your car.
Yeah.
And you spot the car. The car that was tailing you is just parked a little bit further out at the entrance of the studio.
Okay.
What'd you do?
And where am I parked relative to that? I'm inside the studio.
Yeah, you're just inside the doors of the studio, so you just see it. It's a little bit further away. So and it's now mid-afternoon, I'd say.
Okay. I'm going to go talk to them.
Okay.
I want to go see who it is. Right. So what do I do? I walk up to the car and tap the window.
Yeah, you walk up to the car. Well, basically, this is what happens. You walk up to the car.
Yeah.
And as there's somebody in the car, as they see you approach, they actually looks like they're half panicking and take out and start bolting away.
Like drive off?
Well, you're not driving, so I want you to be able to get. So basically,
what kind of car is it? So as I'm walking to the car, they see me coming, and they're like scrabbling to like turn on the car and drive off. Is that what you mean?
Yes.
So
and
what
you
kind
can stop them. You have a challenge to
I can stop them?
Essentially.
Okay, well, I want to stop them.
Yeah. So it's an athletic challenge.
Oh.
And so you throw one die basically based on athletics. What do you got on athletics again?
I don't know.
Right here, you have 2 dice, but you throw one first.
2? I throw one first.
2. Yeah.
Okay. Right. Here's my 6.
Okay, great. So you directly get an advance, And because you didn't use one of your dies, that will be turned into an advantage, I believe, are the rules. Can you make a note of that?
That I have an advantage.
Yeah, you will get an advantage because you have an extra die that you didn't use.
Yeah.
For this challenge.
Yeah.
And I think we did the same thing last time. You must have said that twice, but anyway, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
So so you see that the guy that you're stopping basically through the open window, and that you're actually literally physically preventing from starting his car, is getting all jumpy and really, you know, looking a little bit scared at this particular point, or you know, clearly skittish for sure.
Yeah.
Is a, what does he look like? Let's see. Sorry. The characters. Anyway, he looks kind of like mousy. He's quite thin, has a small mustache, quite thin mustache.
Mm-hmm.
Looks quite pale, like kind of wet blue eyes, if that makes any kind of sense. Just and he's like, "Oh, let me go."
So I want to I want to ask him, who's he? Why are you following me? Who are you? What's your name? You're making up your name, is what you're doing.
I'm Spielmans, Franz Spielmans. I've got Franz Spielmans. That's my name.
Franz Spielmans.
Yeah. He has a slight German accent.
Okay. Why are you following me?
I'm a freelance reporter. I'm working on a story, and I saw that you
saw that I
talked to Daly, Marshall Daly. I mean, it seems like you were looking for him. Did you? Or at least I'm telling him you went to. I talked to the doorman at the hotel, and apparently he said that you were looking for him. So I think that, I mean, I'm, you know.
Okay. So I basically want to.
So what do you use to find this information out? How are you approaching it? So you asked a question, but looking at your investigative skills.
Yeah,
of course we can play out the conversation, but are the other ideas you can also, well, you can just tell me how you're doing things. You don't necessarily, but you can also look at the different investigative skills and say what you're using to find out what kind of information, or you can simply kind of like show me what you're using with the tone or the actions that you're saying.
Oh, I see. Yeah, that makes sense. Okay, I see. So
so for example, you can say like, I'm going to shake him down and talk to him angrily and say this, then I'm like, okay, you're intimidating him. Or you can say, oh, I'm using intimidation.
Yeah, I see what you mean. I see what you mean. So I want to so I want to assess his honesty.
Okay.
I want to see if he see how he responds if I talk to him.
Okay. Any particular question alongside of that?
What's the story you're working on then? Which paper?
He's looking around. He's like, okay, so actually it's I mean, I'm a freelance writer, but you know, there's the authorities are really interested in, I mean, I'm researching this piece and I'm on you know, red subversion in the movie industry. So I mean, I don't have a client for it yet, but I think that if I once I put this together and I finish it, all the papers in time are going to be begging for it, for sure. And this Daily guy, I promise you, and I hope this is not your case, but I don't know, but he belongs to a communist cell. So I thought, I mean, I was just, you know, I can see you're a straight up and up kind of guy, right? It's not, you know, not your jam, I hope. So what you're getting from what he's saying is that he's clearly weaving in and out of the truth. He's talking some truth, but he's also some but some lies. Difficult to say what.
Yeah. Okay. And
You can with questions and or a push find out, like, if you want to find out more about which parts is he lying about, but he probably has more information to give anyway.
yeah, so I get that. And didn't producer guy say that Marshall was mixed up in some communist stuff? He did.
I
Pretty
don't
sure.
think so. Maybe
There's somebody else who definitely said that Marshall was some.
mixed in with something,
Yeah,
let's say. I
but it
mean,
was.
yeah, possibly. I don't
It's not.
remember, to be
It's
honest.
not.
I'm
It
sorry.
wasn't. It's not. This isn't the first time I'm hearing about something about the Red Threat, the Red Menace, the Red Communist.
Well, so we're in the middle of the McCarthyism, so there's a
Yeah,
lot of that kind of thing, right?
and there's a lot of paranoia around Hollywood route. All that
Yes.
stuff wasn't there. Okay, all right. So he's kind of cagey, but he's
Yeah.
speaking in half truths or whatever. So I want to use cop talk on him
Okay.
to kind of like, because he's a freelance reporter and he wants a great story. That's my logic.
Listen, I just so what are you asking him? Cop talk is really about what is cop
Isn't
talk
isn't
really
it
about?
really? Isn't cop talk like, so? I would say something like, look, I'm a private detective. I'm on a case. If you've got information for me that's going to help with the case, that will be good, because that's why I went to speak to Marshall Daly.
Mm.
I'm not going to tell you details of the case, but like, I want to know why you're following me.
Okay.
There's more. It's not just the story. What else do you know? Tell me.
Yeah. Okay. I understand.
It's
All right.
part
That's
of.
fine. Well, listen, there's nothing else. I mean, I'm naturalized, been here for many years. I'm definitely interested in, I all pro liberty and freedom, and definitely want to get rid of all the evil communists. And I'm really sure that this is going to be a really good piece once I manage to finish it. So, I mean, I can see you're like checking out as 100% American and not any kind of those kind of thing. And I also know that listen, there's a skirt. Her name's Ellen Deacon, and there's somehow some mix up going on there. I think because I talked to them at the Alegria at the rug joint, the casino place.
Who did
And
you talk to? You say you spoke to them.
well,
What,
he
Marshall and
seems
Helen?
somehow mixed up with a crooked accountant called Phil Block. So, I mean, I'm saying he's tough. He's tough, by the way. I honestly just, I thought, I mean, go in with your gun out. If you go talk to that dude, he's a dangerous guy. I thought I was just going to find information about Marshall, but you know how those things go. I know I'm dealing in a kind of dangerous topic, which is why it's going to be a big one, right?
Oh, the big story. Oh, of course it is. All right. Well,
I thought that the dude was part of the commie ring, but I mean, he gave me a good. He beat me up basically. It just so that guy Phil Block. I mean, he doesn't.
Phil Block beat you up.
Well, I mean, yeah, he seriously knocked me out. I mean, so when you talk about accountants are weak or whatever, that's not just not true.
Okay. All right. Well, stop following me around.
Yeah, of course, no problem.
But here's my card.
All right, cool. Thank you.
So I'm going to go back to my car now.
And cop talk is about getting contacts and talking to cops.
Oh, is that what
it's
about?
Being able to get a license plate. It's about being able to get stuff through your cop contacts.
Okay. All right.
So that's what
I thought it was something else. Okay.
No, it's okay.
Okay, so I'm going to go back to my car, and then so so what I'm picking up on here is so he mentioned Helen, which I thought was interesting. That Alegria sounds like a place to go at night, or rather than the day. Then
there's stuff going on like all times, but yeah.
Yeah, but everyone's paranoid about the communists, and an accountant called Phil Block It sounds so ridiculous. Phil Block. So I want to go to the Alegria now.
Okay.
I want to see what it's like at the Alegria.
All right, cool. So while you go back in your car and head down to the Alegria, you've been before, you know where it is.
Okay. And Franz Spielman seems to think that Marshall is dodgy and has something to do with Helen, whereas I know that Helen. Well, we know that. Well, I don't know about Helen, but like Marshall seemed like he really cared about her and wants to know what's going on. He doesn't know anything, and everyone's in this 50s LA paranoid stuff.
30s, 19, which 1937.
Sorry, 30s paranoid.
1937. There are other things going on as well, soon or now.
The war.
Yeah. Exactly.
Okay. I swear McCarthyism was later.
No, 1930s.
Oh, okay. So any kind of distractions that people can have, then they'll take them if it means enjoying. Prohibition finished, right?
And there's a lot of, yeah, it is. There's a lot of talk about, Hitler and whether he's good or bad. And some people think at this point it's a good thing, by the way. Okay, great. I'm there. All right. All right. So you drive over to the suburb of Burbank, which is where it's happening.
Yep.
So you're not very far from all the Disney studios. So from the Universal Studio, Warner's, and Disney, actually. So you're not that far. Okay. And you have a long sloping road. So this is where, it's not everything is, actually most of this is not urbanized at all like it is now. So you don't have houses everywhere. You have at the end and after the studios, a long sloping road. So this is sprawling ranch style house at the end of a road. There's like ranch and cattle and some empty spaces. And at the end of that road, you have this big ranch style house that's called the Alegria. It's run as an illegal casino. So actually, here's what, before you go.
Yeah.
I'm just going to give it to you. It's going to be easier because you could ask, otherwise you could ask like, what do you actually know about this place? So I'll just tell you.
Yeah.
Before you go, and this is your streetwise information and just your general being a PI in Los Angeles. Mm-hmm. You've heard of this place. You've been before. Mm-hmm. So this guy running it is called Whitey Alexander. Mm-hmm. Whitey is white with a Y at the end.
Yep.
Whitey works for the system, capital S.
Yep.
So the system is the old line white shoe Anglo mob run by a former vice cop that turned crime lord called Guy McAfee. Mm-hmm. So also meaning that he's a former cop. So the LAPD is pretty much sorted in his pocket.
Yep.
Aside from a few exceptions like your friend Ted Gargan, who has been, transferred to working in the middle of the night in dead areas and all sorts of menial other things because he apparently can't stop doing the right thing.
Yep.
So they're going to put him on. So he can still help you, Ted Gargan, but he's kind of a little bit whatever. That Whitey, you've dealt with him before. You've talked to him before. He has a reputation. He has a reputation as the kind of mobster you can really depend on to treat you right. Depending obviously on the circumstances. But he has that kind of like mobster code of honor, old school. As long as you're not standing between him and his goal or his profit margin, or if you're offering the right price, then you can he's dependable, basically. Mm-hmm. Generally speaking, how he's going to act. He's really being straightforwardly working for his profits, if that makes any kind of sense. So he's got a certain kind of line of conduit built around that.
As long as he's making money, he doesn't really.
Yeah, and he's not going to do anything to kill the golden goose, right?
Yeah.
And or to rock the boat too much.
And the golden goose being the casino. So anything,
casino or whatever else he's got his hands on.
Right. Yeah.
Right.
Okay. Whatever.
Well,
In
this actually, so sorry, this
1937 America.
particularly
is-
the casino. What? Wait, the casino, because this is Whitey. Whitey, this is like the casino, but he works for Guy McAfee. Guy McAfee is another story. So Whitey is really the casino. So when you know the casino itself, he's not gonna tolerate too much trouble inside the casino if it makes any rich people want to leave or like that. You know?
Yeah. I think I got it. Okay.
Makes sense, right?
Yeah, I think that makes sense. So this is at,
if you want to use a push is you have to use those little tokens here. I forget that I'm sharing my screen. Sorry, because I'm looking at other things.
Because
those are pushes. Those give you an advantage. And if you want to use a push, you can use a push to have an advantage called you and him have a previously established respectful relationship. If you'd like. If not, then you might know who one another are, perhaps, but you don't particularly have any reason to be, to start on a good foot.
Oh, yeah, we're talking about Whitey, right? Okay. So, let's think. So,
if it helps, you gain nothing by having all your pushes at the end, and you can regain new ones. Actually, that's the dice. The dice is an extra push. That's what it is. So you get an extra one.
Because I've got an extra dice.
Yes, that's the one. Oh, now I remembered.
Okay.
Why can't I move it? Oh, it's just because everything's super slow.
Yeah, I can't even get into the board. When we were playing before,
I can
see. When we were playing before, you'd share your screen, but I was wandering around the board looking at stuff at the same time.
But I will. Let me share it again with you.
You have, but if for some reason I can't get into it when I click
Really?
it just doesn't load. It goes about a quarter way across the screen and then stops.
That's strange.
I think it's my internet.
And I'm going to give you. Oh, I can't give you. I can invite you to the team. It might be your internet. I don't know.
No, I don't think.
Okay, let's just keep playing now. We'll do.
So yeah, so I want to go see Whitey. I want to talk to him, and I want to use a push. So
use a push.
Any kind of vague connections or whatever. So if he remembers me, everything is about the relationship.
Okay, so here's what's going to happen. I'm going to ask you. So obviously you're not friends or anything, right?
No, yeah.
But you're in a situation that he trusts you enough to talk to him and respond in a forthcoming fashion, maybe. So you can sum it up as like, for you're all right. He thinks you're all right.
Okay.
Now, why question to you is, and you can make a note of it.
Yeah.
What did you do once for Whitey to make it so that you have a relatively comfortable level of relationship? What happened in the past that seems like you either helped him or did him a favor, or as part of a case, it happened so that, he has a positive perspective, or, relatively positive, respectful anyway. Obviously related to the casino.
Yeah, so I think I did something where I maybe calmed down a situation in the casino and got rid of some people who were making life difficult.
Okay, great.
And costing him money. It was something like that.
Yeah.
Maybe like, no, that's all.
Some drunk person was.
Yeah.
So you were working a case, talking to some people.
Yeah.
And a drunk lout was actually annoying the whales. And
whales being big spenders, high rollers.
Yeah. Whales being big spenders. And the situation seemed to be escalating with one of the security guys, and you managed to just talk the guy out of it without making a scene, because it looked like it was going in that direction.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Some of that, yeah.
Great. Oh yeah, so it's open at night, so we could just fast forward to that if you want. It was already like in the afternoon anyway.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. So yeah, it opens for supper, dinner hour. So there's no point. So you just like did a few other things on the way before. Was there anything you wanted to do beforehand, just in case?
No.
We could just fast forward.
I think so. Yeah, fast forward.
All right, so you get over there, and this is one swank joint. Okay, I'm bad with all the lingo. I'd like to be more I mean, I would have to be a lot more prepared to use a lot of the slang and lingo from the film
Yeah.
noir and 30s. I'm not doing a lot of it. I'm reading off some notes that I have from the book. But yeah, it's a swank joint. It's a really beautifully set up ranch house. You have it around in front, really nice cars setting and slopping. Actually, as you come in, you pass by Chico Marx, who's generally grousing about his losses as he's flirting with a hat check girl.
Mm-hmm.
And Chico's using his character's trademark Italian accent. I don't know if you've seen much Marx Brothers movies, but I do recommend them. That's another thing to watch from the 1930s and 40s.
Marx Brothers.
Oh, so good. So good. And I actually don't know how well some of their jokes have aged, but they're very, very funny. And Groucho is so funny. Chico is so Chico, Groucho, Harpo, and the young premier, I can't remember his name right now. Anyhow, Duck Soup is one that you want to check out. It's one of their most famous ones.
Okay.
And I do just generally, if anybody else is watching, the Marx Brothers I recommend. So they were super famous comedians at the time.
I know. I've heard of them, but never watched any of their stuff.
Oh, it's great. I love it. It's very funny. So there's a beautiful chanteuse in a slinky silk evening gown, singing she sat on a piano. There's the piano player. Cole Porter's in the still of nights in a lounge adjoining the main hall.
I'm sorry, I've got to say, all I can think of is the Malkovich scene when you say that, from being John Malkovich.
I can't remember when everybody's John Malkovich.
Yeah, and there's a singer, chanteuse, sitting on the piano in a slinky dress.
Well, that's interesting where you went. So like that, Malkovich. But not the absurdity of being John Malkovich. Bing Crosby's around, nodding at the big room. He's throwing dice at the craps tables.
Oh,
there's a low level,
proper high-end Hollywood.
Oh yeah, no, this is proper high-end Hollywood. Yeah, for sure.
Okay.
It's right next to all the studios. It's in Burbank.
Even though it's an illegal gambling place, it's super high-end.
Yeah, but it's a high-end illegal gambling place.
Okay, cool.
And you have to remember the LA in the 1930s.
The lines are blurred.
It's the system rules everything. They own the cops. Just like during Prohibition times, it's not because it was illegal that you didn't have all the rich and famous people there at all. You have them; they're there. So you have blackjack tables, craps tables, poker tables, some slots, but not really. This seems to be more about the roulettes and the high stake tables. Gorgeous, tailored suits, some pinstripes, beautiful dresses, cigarette holders.
It's the big sleep. Room. It is. It's the room in the big sleep. Yeah. Except with those famous people. I got it.
And then throughout, mostly standing on the edges, you have hulking watchers, big shoulders, just kind of stretching their jackets. Also stretching their jackets, you can see kind of there's guns bulging right below beneath their tuxedo jackets. So everything just in case there's any kind of trouble.
Mm-hmm.
There's the hat check that you just passed. There's that lounge kind of cocktail bar side. Then there's the main hall that has all the games. There you go. And you can see that they really reinforced the security. There's a lot more lagoons since last time that you were there. So don't know. You're wondering are they expecting trouble, or is this they just upped the security, just generally speaking?
Oh wow. Okay.
Oh, and you can see just nearby by just chatting to the clerk at the booth where you exchange your money and for tokens.
Yep.
So there's a booth on the other side opposite the hat check, and there you can see talking to the clerk is Burl Treehorn, B-U-R-L Treehorn.
Mm-hmm.
And he's a dude who works for the casino, so you know him. He works for he's one of the people working for the casino. You've seen him before and chatted with him last time you were there. There you go.
Okay. So I suppose saying hi to Burl would be a good start.
Sorry, give me 1 second.
And finding out if Whitey's around.
I was checking what problem you have. Let's remember also the problem that you picked.
Yeah.
Which is what killed the cat. Even when you shouldn't look or have no reason to want to know something, you can't not look, can't stop probing. You worry problems like a terrier worries a rat. Like a terrier worries a rat. Sorry, what'd you just say?
I said I was gonna say hi to Burl.
Okay.
And find out if Whitey was around.
Okay. Okay, so as you walk through, you're just thinking, okay, you're gonna go talk to him.
Yeah.
But you have to avoid the tables. Because you kind of had a quick thought, maybe you could just check the tables quickly. So that's a challenge. And it's a cool challenge.
What does the cool challenge mean?
It means that it's based on cool, which is one of your abilities, and you have 1 die.
So,
1 dice.
in other
One
words,
die, one
not
dice.
getting sucked into anything. I've got a poker face kind of vibe.
Yeah. You just so the temptation, the challenge
Yeah.
is to resist the temptation
Yeah.
to hit the tables for a bit.
Yep. I think I'm with you. Okay. Okay,
And it's a just for the information, it's not too difficult to challenge for you, but there's one of the problems, which is Vice Hound. And if you have the Vice Hound challenge, it's a bigger challenge. For you, it's a challenge, but it's not necessarily a big one.
So I roll with that.
Although, wait.
Is there somebody I know at the table or something?
No.
Okay, that's all right.
So you have 1 die, and I think you can use a push to have a second one. Anyway, like throw
1 die.
Yeah.
Okay. 5.
Okay, great. So that's a hold. So given you had to kind of stop by the blackjack tables, couldn't hurt, never know, just to have a look whether you're going to be in luck tonight or not. And also you kind of figure as an excuse to yourself also that it maintains your cover of actually being a customer and at least throwing a little bit of money to the business. Otherwise,
I spent some money.
Exactly. So you basically play a couple of hands. You can see you're not really hot tonight, and you're like, all right, well, that's money given over to the business just to say that you have you deserve to be there, and you're not just spoiling the fun of everybody else by being the PI hanging around there.
Yep.
And so as you finish playing those couple of hands, and then you kind of turn around, and Burl is talking to he's just at a craps table nearby, as 2 of the card dealers or table managers are changing shifts or something like that, apparently. And he's just right nearby.
So I can go and start talking to him. All right.
Yeah.
And I want to ask him how he is, how things going, what's the vibe like.
So Burl is quite. He's in his mid-30s or something. Thinning hair, so he's starting to be quite bald in the middle. With a comb over a little bit, just a few of the hairs combed over. Small little circle rim glasses. Well dressed in a business shirt and a little jacket. And all in black. I mean, that's kind of saggy cheeks. A little bit, make him look like a little bit of a kind of not exaggerated as that, but kind of a little bit droopy, a little bit, and gives him, it's difficult to see him smile, if that makes sense. Not very tall, definitely smaller than average, and looks up to you and goes, "Oh, Mr. Raymond, how may I help you?"
And is he kind of unassuming? He's just kind of there.
He's not unassuming. He's a man about doing his job.
Okay. Like if he wasn't there, people would notice. He's that kind of guy.
No, not that kind of guy. No,
Okay.
in that sense, yes, relatively doing unassuming, but
He's doing his job. He's there to do a job.
exactly. And so not particularly noticed by the guests. He's there to
Yeah.
be discreet, just to make sure
Yep.
things are turning and rolling and everybody's
Yeah.
having
Okay.
good fun.
Okay. All right. Cool. Okay. And is he the kind of
And he's not
guy?
the floor manager, but because
No,
that would be the jobs. He's just like the guy that makes things happen.
but is he the kind of guy that would pick up on stuff? He's not a complete
You
idiot.
can ask him. What do you want
Okay.
to ask him?
I want to ask him. I want to ask him two things. I want to, but not necessarily in this order. I want to ask him, is Whitey around, and could I talk to him? But I also want to ask him if he's seen Marshall and Helen around recently. So
Okay.
I think I want to ask him first about has he seen Helen Deacon around?
Okay. No, I've not seen Miss
Or
Deacon around for a while.
when was the last time you saw her?
I really don't pay that much attention to some of our guests. Have you seen who's here tonight? And he's like,
Oh, it's true.
very discreetly pointing to some like
super
very
high
big
end
wigs.
famous people. Yeah.
So
Okay.
I do know, I do remember, and I make note of the Deacon family, of course. I mean, after all, sorry, just after all, I had a comment, then I forget what I'm saying. After all, Roscoe's a regular here, obviously, right? And we see Roscoe very often. So, but I have not seen his daughter Helen in a long time.
Oh yeah, because Roscoe's the guy who got all the money from real estate, isn't he? Is he the original one?
Yeah.
Okay.
Why do you ask?
Are
you working a case?
I'm working a case, and yeah, I'm just wondering if anyone's seen her around because I knew she was here, right? She would be here every so often.
I mean, sure, just like everybody is. As again, look around.
too many famous people. What about? Do you know a guy called Marshall Daly?
It doesn't really ring a bell. I mean, let me just actually, sorry. No, doesn't ring a bell.
Oh, okay. All right. And I noticed you got more of the security. You really tightened it up.
I don't see what you're talking about.
Oh, you don't? Oh, okay. I couldn't help but notice more of the goons around.
Okay, Mr. Raymond, is there anything I can really help you with? I do have a lot of work tonight.
Sure. Fair enough. Okay. Is Whitey around?
All right, let me find out.
Thank you.
So he goes away for a little bit. You're just like observing the whole room around. Comes back a few minutes later. And he says, yes, Mr. Alexander will see you. Please follow me.
Thank you.
Okay. Please follow I'll have, it's lady. So he's got a hostess, grabs a hostess thing. Oh, can you please lead him to Mr. Alexander's office? And he kind of leaves you at the casino floor. So you're walking down the corridor to Whitey's office.
Yep.
And you pass down a really, a tiny little thin guy, pinstripe suit, looking quite nervous, carrying a big folder, bulging with added machine tapes. So stuff from adding, so
yeah, okay,
comes out with the paper with the
Yeah.
strips on the side.
Yeah.
So he's got, accountancy, presumably something like accountancy papers or numbered papers of some kind. And he's just like looks at his watch and accelerates, so picks up his pace a little bit while walking.
And he's
the other way.
The other way. Oh, he's going away from the office. I'm going towards the office. He's going.
Yeah, you're going towards the office.
Wasn't there something about an accountant
Yeah, there was. You just talked about
somewhere?
him.
Did I? No, I know you just talked about him, but wasn't there something else before in when we were talking about an account? Or am I imagining that?
Actually, not a lady following you. It's a guy, rather. Sorry. Okay, so
No, but wasn't there something where we spoke, but previously
yeah,
about
just
an
right now you
accountant?
heard about the accountant
No,
called
no,
Phil
no,
Block.
not. Yeah. Oh, was that it?
Actually, so I misdescribed him. Sorry, I
Phil
realized
Block
I'm
was
not doing this very well.
super. Phil
This is
Block
a
was
big
super
guy. This is a
scary,
big guy in a
intimidating.
pinstripe suit, looking a little nervous, but has a file of stuff. It's not a little thin guy. Sorry,
Yeah, that's
my
what
bad.
confused me.
I know,
Like,
but this is my fault. I'm not prepared enough.
uh, okay, all right. So as he
Your arm is
gets,
grabbed by the casino employee in front of you. So why do they don't like to be kept waiting, dude? Not dude, but
yeah, man, dude,
the
yeah, no,
thing, the equivalent of dude for the film noir 1930s.
yeah. So then I say to them, yeah, okay, who's that guy? He's in a hurry.
None of your concern. Accountant.
Oh, he's an accountant. Oh, okay, all right, yeah, okay, fine. So I'm going in to see Whitey.
All right. So so you walk into the casino employee in front of you, knocks on the door,
Yep,
big, quite heavy mahogany
yep,
door, and inside
yeah.
of there, nice kind of lush office. There are hunting trophies on the wall, big oak furniture,
Mm.
rifle rack just above on one side, books. Just with this whole rustic ranch,
Yeah,
kind of like traditional West, but opulence. Big,
yeah.
beautiful wooden desk. And you walk in, and you can see he's pacing and looking impatient as you walk in. He's got a beautiful white suit with a bright red crimson little how do you
Pocket
call this?
square.
Pocket square.
Pocket square. Yeah.
Pocket square. Sorry, thanks. And smoking a cigarette. He's got a glass of whiskey, straight whiskey in his hand. Actually, he goes and helps himself. Do you want something, Raymond?
Yeah, I get. See, I created all this stuff originally. I gave up smoking, but I'm still drinking, so I have a whiskey.
Okay. All right.
And after watching The Big Sleep again, it's different because everybody drinks and everybody smokes.
Yeah. All right, Raymond, you're okay. Listen, I know you did me a solid last time, but honestly, I have a lot really going on. So how can I help you? What can I?
Yeah, I'm working a case, and I'm wondering if have you seen Helen Deacon around?
Helen? Yeah, I mean, Helen's my girl.
She's your girl.
I haven't been up to see her because obviously, how do you know about Helen? Anyway, it doesn't matter. But I want to know what's going on with your case that concerns her. But listen, our affair was supposed to be kept hush hush, right? So
Yeah,
fucking
yeah.
her fucking crazy father might be stayed glued to my fucking tables all day. But
Well, it's
I
good for
had to still
business if
sneak
he's
around
here,
for my
right?
daughter. Well, if it was good for business, if he fucking paid his bills.
He's not paying his bills. Oh, that's not cool.
Okay, again, all right. So yeah, sure. But
so okay.
I know she's been in trouble. If I knew what to do, are you? What's going on? Is this related? What's happening? What's your case?
Let me think. So I want to say, yeah, okay, all right. So Helen, I've been hired by the deacons. Helen disappeared and reappeared. Did you know about this?
Sorry. Well, yes. I mean, I heard that she's got a massive mental breakdown. I think it's because of her crazy sister, personally.
Yeah. Well,
Do you know that she once barged in here in my own office and made a scene, trying to haul Helen out.
Margaret did that.
Yeah, she's nuts.
I didn't know that. I didn't know that. But Margaret hired me to
I mean,
find out
either
what
happened
happened to
her.
Helen. Helen
It's horrible. I listen. I've been super busy, but also because they really insisted on keeping my affair hush hush, and it was like because listen, I'm a grown man. I have my own casino, and I have to sneak around to be with my gal. That's crazy.
Yeah, it is.
And I like, even though the father's like here all the time,
but he's not paying his bills.
Well, yeah, the whole thing was. I did her a favor. Obviously, you know, what can I say? I'm a big softie. I didn't collect a suspended collection of his debts.
You did Helen a favor.
Well, you would with your girl, wouldn't you?
It's true. You would. You would, because so she disappeared, she turned up again and she's not responding to anything. It's like she's not there.
Yeah.
She's gone. Do you know about this?
Well, I know I heard about her breakdown, and I tell you, I think it's either the crazy sister who's like crazy possessive and just, you know, I know she's managing the whole empire, unless it's those crazy cultists she got mixed up with. I don't know. They like black magic, spiritualism, that kind of crazy shit. It's just ridiculous.
Oh, really? What are they called? These crazy cultists?
I don't know. Those people are I don't know. But yeah, it's the same ones. I think it's the people that do those rituals under the like full moon rituals near the Hollywood sign. That you know that there's a starlet that offed herself a few years back over there.
Okay.
I don't know what they're called, but maybe you can find it that way.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
I'll bust her out if they're keeping a prisoner there. I will take care of her. I'm telling you that right now. Okay.
Well,
so you better sort this thing out, or if you don't, I'm going to take care of it.
Well, I'm going to sort it out because that's what I do, and I'm going to find out exactly what happened to Helen. And if it's those crazy cultists, then we'll find out. But I'll let you know. I'll keep you in the loop.
Okay, yeah, please do, because I mean, there's just a lot going on right now, and I would actually go and get her out of there right myself, but there's a few things I'm dealing with at the moment as well.
Yeah, I saw this big guy walk by, like rushing with a load of paper. Before I came in here, he looked kind of.
He's just frowning. What? Yeah. What do you mean? There's just. Sorry. Just give me a second. That's
okay.
Yeah. Okay. So that's Mike Hansen. What's going on?
Okay.
No. It's just like there's some. Listen, nothing I can't handle. There's some fucking bum from the east, Bud Barron, who's been squeezing me, and they're trying to make a move on the system, essentially, really.
Oh man. That's
and you have heard that actually this Bugsy Siegel, and you heard rumors that a magazine company called A.M. Hillier has become a mob front. And it's, you know, mobsters from the East Coast are trying to make a move on this territory.
And the front is a magazine.
Apparently, the front would be a magazine company called A.M. Hillier, Hillyer. Hillier.
And Bugsy Siegel's the top guy from the East.
The top guy from the East is quite famous. Famous. You've heard the name.
Okay.
And there's presumably a guy called Bud Barron here somewhere.
Who's working for Bugsy Siegel, probably.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. That's what Whitey's just saying.
That's what Whitey's saying. Okay. All right. I get it. All right. Thanks for your time.
Okay.
And I'll let you know if anything happens to Helen.
Yeah. Please do. Please do. All right. What'd you do?
I want to find out more about these cultists. So I'm going to talk to. Isn't one of my people someone. I can't see the board.
Yes, you have a spiritualist in your contacts. Madam Eva, fortune teller.
But there's also, hang on, isn't there someone else who's an expert on cults and weirdness?
In your contacts?
Yeah. Isn't there someone
You have
else?
a shrink who might know some stuff about mental illnesses.
And what is
You
the
have
professor?
a professor. He knows everything. He's going to know all sorts of stuff about history, archaeology. He knows about academics.
Okay. And so I want to go see Madam
So it depends
Ava.
what angle you want to take on it. He might know about history, but really Madame Eva knows more about occult stories and stuff.
Yeah. So
while Dr. Jeff might know more about, breaking down and emotional or psychological stress. Depends what you're looking for.
I want to go see Madam Eva.
Okay, so just as you're leaving, so you walk out, you leave the office, walk down the corridor, you pass the whole big, increasingly lively hall, and still glasses clinking, music playing, a lot of loud chatter, the noise of cards and dice, etc.
Yep.
That all fades away in the background, just slowly as you pass through the door and you see some other security guys. And as you walk in the parking lot, they just like walk out of the door and towards the parking lot, a bomb blows up immediately. So bam, enormous crash, and you just fall yourself like the push from the explosion, because it was far enough not to have any harm to you, but close enough to knock you off your feet and against another car. Big orange fireball that throws the car up in the air, landing on its back.
Oh, it was in a car. Vehicles. It was a car bomb. Okay, all right.
Yeah.
All right.
Actually, sorry. The thing is big enough that you actually have to dodge the debris, so you have an athletics challenge. Sorry, you have to throw a dice for athletics.
Okay, cool. Because we're gonna have to finish up here.
Yeah, we're gonna finish after this. We can stop there.
So I'm throwing one die or two.
One to start with always. That's on your character sheet, which is right here. Sorry, I keep forgetting that I'm sharing my screen.
I've got two.
You do have two, but you throw one, and how much
I got
did you do?
4.
Okay, so 4 is a hold, but you can throw another one if you want an advance, or you can keep that extra one as a push.
I'll keep it as a push.
Okay, great. So you aren't hurt, but you've been thrown against the car, and you managed to dodge some of the stuff, but your clothes are singed and kind of dirty. So you can expect some remarks until you go home to change into a new suit. You look like shit.
Yeah. Okay.
Basically.
Yeah. All right.
So you spot a couple of men. You just turn around, just kind of like dust yourself off. Nothing too hurt, fortunately, but big shock. And there's a lot of people spilling out of the casino, looking at what's going on.
Yeah.
And you kind of see 2 men sitting in front of in the front seat of a dinged up Ford Coupe. They look cool, like a lot cooler than most of the people walking out of the casino right now. And that's just like as your sight just you look, kind of just swept, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
And you notice them and they turn the ignition key and just drive off.
Did I get a chance to look at the license plate? Will that be a challenge?
You can but because it's too dark, but you could if you hurry, you could follow them. You could just jump in your car and manage to keep up if you want to. Basically, your choice is stick around, find out the aftermath, try to find out what happened, or try to like hurry to your car and follow the guys.
Yeah.
You can choose next time if you want to stop.
Yeah, let's choose next time.
Okay, make a note of it, please.
Yeah, I will. So I'll keep this piece of paper instead of using my journal.
Okay, well, it's good. We're progressing a little bit.
No, this is exciting, and I'm getting into it.
I'll reread stuff for next time, which I did promise last time as well. But anyway,
this is very cool, and it's beginning to take on a life of its own. I'm getting immersed in the story.
So you're enjoying it?
Oh yeah.
Great.
Oh yeah, yeah. And I'm also appreciating that what what you have to do. It's
Huh?
like juggling about 10 balls at the same time. I don't know how you
It's
do
okay. It's just as I mentioned. I think although we did, I did my whole talk on role playing games and realized it didn't work or something wasn't streaming a few weeks ago. But it's this particularly. So there's a lot of improvisation possible usually.
Mm-hmm.
But because this is very prescriptive in the way that it's organized, I'm a
Yeah,
little
you're
bit more
walking me through.
hesitant to improvise.
Yeah,
And
no,
you see, like I made a mistake earlier because I was like, oh wait, actually no, this is the same person. But the way that it just described, it doesn't matter. But had I
no,
prepared,
I get the,
I
I
would
get
have
what
paid
you're doing.
attention to that's the same character and to make sure I'm describing it the same way. Which
But
I can always make mistakes like that. Always.
But what I
when I'm
like is that
improvising,
I
but
think this is the right kind of game for me because I haven't played a role playing game. It's the right kind of game for me to have that kind of steps of less improv and more kind of guiding. And I what appeals to me about all of this is the story anyway. So I like
that's
it.
what I like about role playing games as well. I particularly like the story, and it matters less on the guided thing
Mm-hmm.
when you're playing with other people. So right now it's these sessions with you are the only sessions I'm managing to keep as for role-playing games, which I'd still like to have another regular group because my other regular groups right now are having trouble managing
This is the
timetables.
whole
Essentially, it's really difficult.
Twice a month becomes once a month becomes nothing.
And we meet once every 3 months and it's just not happening. So and it's just we're all busy. It's difficult. It's not the same as when we're teenagers that have all the time in the world to be able to do those things. So but what I was going to say is if you're playing with a group of people, the guiding happens through the discussion with other people about what you're going to do together to deal with the situation that is thrown at you.
Makes sense.
So that you're still you're not necessarily it depends on the game, but you kind of make up the plan as you're playing with other people. So there's more interaction, which is also part of the fun. So there's more interaction between the players and the world incarnated by the person doing the game master. Anyway,
cool, man.
It's cool.
I gotta go.
All right,
awesome,
cool.
And we'll pick